country. And Paul Revere is very well known. And what they find is that essentially he had such a social network that it was very easy for him to ride from town to town, knock on the right door, get the right person out of bed, the militiamen or whoever it was, and rally people so that there was this massive army that came out. Well, and this is he had a good message, right? He had a message that inspired and evoked passion, and he could get it to the right people. So there's two critical components there, right? It's who you interact with and what you're telling them. As opposed to, and the problem is that if I went around all night and I said, hi, we're going to go kill some British soldiers, would it have been nearly as inspiring as, we're going to go defend America, we're going to go create a new nation. Wow, how much more inspiring is that? Like, we're going to go create a culture that fulfills the dreams of our forefathers, that protects every human being from the moment of creation, that promotes fatherhood and motherhood and marriage because it respects the value and the dignity of human life. I mean, that's beautiful. To me, it's so much more inspiring than just, ending abortion is great, yes. But it's such a small aspect of the reality that we're fighting against. So anyway, when we talk about recruitment, I highly recommend focusing on positive message, especially when you first get people in the door. So who are your target audiences for recruiting? Where are you going to go to recruit?
Well, when you live in the suburbs, you don't have many young activists like you had in the Boston periphery with all the colleges. That's what I find. Mostly
You don't have activists when you live in the periphery.
Yeah, most of
Or at least not as many.
most of us are middle-aged or older.
What about churches?
Well, even in the churches, you know.
Leftists recruit in high schools, so
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
a reason for that.
How do you get into the high schools?
High school and college.
That's when Parenthood gets in, but
Get them in high school, then they get indoctrinated during college, and then by the time they graduate, there's
they're
your
on the left
base,
again.
you know?
Yeah.
They're usually, I
But
think
also
they're usually
college
pro-life
is
when they're in high
very
school.
When they're in high school, they get-
Sorry, Paul, I couldn't hear you.
What
No,
are
no
you doing in
problem.
your classes?
I think you would be surprised. There's actually a lot of pre-existing conservative organizations all over the Commonwealth, and there's church councils. I think many times we think of recruitment in the sense of going out and talking to every single person you know. You get your face in front of pre-existing organizations that share your values. They're all over the place. It's a great place to start. We don't have to kill ourselves trying to recruit individual people. There's organizations.
Absolutely. High schools, churches, pre-existing organizations. What else?
Social networks.
Facebook.
Facebook, I'm friending all my boys. I have 20-year-old children, and I'm friending all their friends in so many categories: pro-life, pro-family, liberal. So I have little groups. These are possible libs, and these are possible pro-life people, and these are possible Republicans. And so if I need to send a message out, I go after the group that I'm targeting.
In Massachusetts, people that self-identify Catholic on Facebook, I don't know if this answer is readily available, but people that self-identify Catholic on Facebook, does it mean anything as far as their worldview, their view on life? Marriage?
50-50.
In Massachusetts,
It's
that's the way they vote.
Because everywhere else in the country, if you self-identify Catholic, it's like, good to go.
Kennedy
Catholic
Catholic.
and conservative, or
Yeah.
Catholic and Republican, or Catholic and,
Yeah,
Right.
because if it's
you
more
will find a lot
Catholic.
of pro-life Catholic Democrats.
Yeah, because more, at least in Massachusetts, it's
In this state.
what you call it, I'm Irish, I'm Catholic. That's-
Right, it's a
an
historical,
ethnic
cultural,
thing.
it's not a faith and
Yeah.
doctrine. It's interesting because I just found that at Notre Dame as well. What would, if you were at Notre Dame, what would your goal be? If you were a student
Burning
pro-life?
effigies of Obama.
You don't want them coming. I'd contact all the alumni and say, hey,
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Some of them are burning their degrees.
pressure,
Yes.
Yeah.
pressure this guy.
But the unfortunate thing is that quite a number of even the pro-life students are at least accepting that he's coming and don't want to do anything about it,
Cut
and
it
just
out.
want to rally around it, or just we want to create unity around this moment to be pro-life. It was tragic, but yeah, this ideological problem is just rampant in our culture. So you're going to go to, how have you gone to pre-existing organizations?
Yeah, that's what I want.
Asking what I do.
Yeah.
Usually meet the head of the organization personally. Phone call doesn't help. Email doesn't do anything.
Right.
Go somewhere, you know that person is going to be dressed nice, and put your face in front of them, be extremely friendly, and no one can say no. And it works every time.
So direct contact.
Yeah.
I completely agree. That's always been my experience. Especially if you can get to these events. I think that the most amazing thing I've seen in the conservative and pro-life and pro-family thing is a growth of societies and conferences and conventions. I can't stress enough the value of being at every single one of those, especially even if it's just a church is holding an event and there's going to be some tables there. Or in Cincinnati, they've got each church has like a circus. It's bizarre. But they've got like their summer circus, and if you go, you can connect with everybody you possibly dream of. The part that we're missing here, so let me break this down. Because there's different parts of an organization, right? Who's at the top? President, right? Maybe not in this country. But
Titular head.
and then you've got officers underneath that person. And then you've got members. And then you've got people that come to one event. So I highly recommend, if this is the model, you need a structure of officers that conforms to this, essentially. That there's somebody that takes people from here, there's somebody or some group that takes people from here to here. There's somebody that takes people from here to here, and somebody that takes people from here to here, generally the president. So you need somebody to do advertising. You need somebody that does membership. So we've got a vision. Now what's the plan? You're going to go target these organizations and these Facebook groups. Wow, this is ridiculous. Am I just pressing to it? Oh, I'm pressing to it. How do you get to these organizations? You go direct contact. But what else do you need to get to these organizations? I mean, like, find them, to know about them, to get in front of them. Then social network. But what else, like going to churches? How do you get into a church? What we found, generally pastors aren't helpful.
Yeah.
I mean, pastors are the least effective. And Obama found an impressive amount of effectiveness within Catholic churches even. Getting study groups together, especially in inner cities. We found that, Obama, and there's been quite a discussion in D.C. amongst Deal Hudson and friends essentially about, well, what happened in this last election that allowed, 54% of Catholics to vote for him? And the reality is that he organized he was capable of organizing and recruiting people in every area. So the question is always, well, how do you get that first person in? Because there's always a bubble within organizations, right? So if you're going after pre-existing organizations, you need your means of input. And it doesn't have to be the leader. It just needs to be anybody. Anybody can go to the pastor and say, I want to start a pro-life organization. And that's fundamentally all that needs to happen for that one person. And then you can get in the door. Then you can go make a speech to the church group or to the church groups in that parish, or Protestant church, whatever it is. So finding one person. How do you find the one person that gets you into the door? And the way that I've always done it, the most effective means I've always found is clipboarding.
Is by what?
Clipboarding. And so, my clipboard's in my car. Here. Here. Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Are you pro-life?
Yes.
Fantastic. We're getting a group started to help mothers save babies and change the world. Are you interested?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Can I ask you a question? Mm-hmm. Are you pro-life? Pro-choice. Oh, okay. Have a good day. Can I ask you a question? Are you pro-life?
I am.
Fantastic. We're going to help babies save mothers.
We help babies save mothers.
That's
Change the world.
It is true.
How many of you have done that before? How many of you have done that before? Gone like person to person, getting signatures, getting names.
We did
Big
Not the whole,
Fantastic.
but